Welcome back. We are now moving into Chapter 3, which is our second module. The focus is going to be on financial statement analysis, not so much long-term planning, but financial statement analysis. We're only going to focus on the first 13 slides in this deck. The main concept is how to standardize financial statements for comparison purposes and know how to compute important financial ratios. You probably already know from the syllabus that the major project in this course is going to be a group project. Now, in a face-to-face class, we call it a group project because everyone's working together. In your case, you're going to be working possibly individually or possibly in groups, depending on what is allowed, given the fact this is online. To the extent that some of you can get together and work in tandem, that's right by me. But again, some people may have unique circumstances where it's almost impossible to collaborate. If that's the case, then I will accept an individual project. You can imagine how difficult it will be if we have 18 students in the class online if I have to grade 18 projects. So ideally, we'd like people to get together and work in groups. That's going to remain to be seen whether everyone is able to do that or not. I digress. So those are the main 2 points we'll be focusing on. 3.1 and 3.2 are really all that we're focused on for this particular PowerPoint. Financial statement analysis and ratio analysis. I will expect you, and there's not a lot of expectations on the paper, it's what is of interest to you and your team. But what I do expect to see is at least 1 year of projections for the public company that you choose. The other item is going to be a ratio analysis, not only for the company you choose, but also for its major competitors. So let me be very clear on this. You're going to be choosing a U.S. publicly traded company, something for which there's data available for at least 3 years back. So I don't want a fledgling company that just started a few months ago. I want there to be at least 3 years of history. I want it to be traded on a major exchange in the U.S., and I want the information to be readily available. One place you may want to look, and I recommend this to all my students, is a website, www.sec.gov. This will give you the 10Ks, which are the annual reports, and the 10Qs, the quarterly reports that have been issued by any publicly traded company. You can just look them up alphabetically. I am reachable. If any of you have questions, by all means, send me an email. Let me know what's not clear. There will be more on the group project as the date approaches, but that kind of gives you the overview. There will be, I think I will probably have one module that is specifically for the group project, so everything will be in one place. Okay, there's such a thing as standardizing financial statements. It's really not as difficult as it sounds. What we're going to do is we're going to have sales be the driver on the income statement, and we're going to have total assets be a driver on the balance sheet. 100% of all the assets will be the total assets. 100% of everything on the income statement will be sales. And so cost of goods sold will be a fraction of total assets. Net income will be a fraction of total assets. Same thing with of sales. Sorry about that. Net income will be a fraction of sales. the cost of goods sold will be a fraction of sales. On the balance sheet, accounts receivable will be shown as a percentage of total assets. Inventory will be a percentage of total assets, etc., etc., etc. That's how you have a common size on the income statement or on the balance sheet. The standardization allows you to basically see how the different asset categories or liability categories or income categories are changing over time. And as the company continues to grow, you can see how those percentages are going up or going down. That are also useful for companies that are of different sizes in the same industry. Not particularly useful for different companies in different industries, because it might be apples and oranges when you're comparing companies in very, very different industries. Before we get into ratios, let me just underscore one thing. If you do a one-year look forward for the company that you're analyzing, be sure to start with sales. Sales is kind of a driver for a lot of stuff, including costs of goods sold. Selling, general, and administrative expenses are somewhat fixed, or at least a portion of them is fixed. They may not be moving up as quickly with the sales. On the asset side, a lot of things are driven by the sales, including the current assets. The accounts payable and the inventory oftentimes are driven by cost of goods sold. So you've got a couple different drivers on both the income statement and on the balance sheet. Just thought I'd throw that out there. Now, ratio analysis. Ratios allow for better comparisons over time between companies. One of the things I mentioned for your group project is that as you do the ratios for the company, that you include also the ratios for its competitors. We're going to break the ratios into 4 or 5 major categories. I would like you to use at least one ratio for each of the 4 or 5 major categories. So that would be the minimum expectation for your ratio analysis. Do it over 3 years to show how the ratios for your company are changing over time. Also show a 3-year trend for, say, the 3 major competitors of your company. So obviously you're going to be doing quite a few ratios by the time all the smoke clears. When you look at the ratio, ask yourself some fundamental questions. How is the ratio computed? What is the ratio trying to measure? What's the unit of measurement? What does the value indicate? I mean, if you got a quick ratio that goes from 1.0 to 0.5, what's happened? Okay, I expect you to be able to explain that. And finally, how can we improve the company's ratio? One of the things you may want to view yourself as when you do the project is you're a consultant to that company, and you're going to tell them